up, hotheads? I'm Henry, and this is Blaze the Roof. This week we're reviewing a sauce called Caulfield Provision Smokey Red Pepper Chipotle Sauce. It's out of Potomac, Maryland. So a little bit about Caulfield Provision. It was started by Connie Caulfield, who's the matriarch, right? So this company is owned by a woman. It is also a family-operated business. She is the matriarch. She's the one that overlooks everything. But it all started with her cooking for, at the last 25 years, she was a stay-at-home mom. She just would start cooking, and eventually, as we tend to see chefs do, they start going into hot sauce, and she got into the game. So she originally started off, cooking for her husband and her 4 children. But here we are now today. So a little bit about Potomac, Maryland. Originally, it was called Offutt's Crossroads, but in 1881, it was renamed to Potomac. Potomac, Maryland is actually in 2013 was the most affluent city for populations of over 25,000. So essentially, you get the whole wealth divided by the population, and they have just a great amount of wealth in a small area. Darren Star, the creator of Beverly Hills 90210, actually made or modeled his experience growing up in Potomac, Maryland. He just changed the scene to be Beverly Hills, but again, it's a very affluent city, and there's a lot of wealth there. And of course, Maryland is the 26th state that we visited during our tour. So famous people from Potomac, or at least in that region, include Freddie Adu, who there was not much ado made about him.
Man, he
was supposed to be the first huge soccer star from the United States. It never panned out. He just basically came across coaches that didn't lead him in the right direction. But he did attend school in the Potomac area while he was trying to train. I think he was even signed to one of the DC soccer team there. And that's where he flamed out. But, you sign a 13-year-old to a professional contract. Yeah, there's going to be some unpredictable behaviors there. 13-year-olds are kind of, hell incarnate, right? So also from this area is Pete Sampras, who's one of the, he's up there. He's one of the best, or one of the longest reigning champs until, of course, Federer and Nadal came, and Djokovic, right? So Rachel Nichols, ESPN reporter, who I think is rather attractive, or I always thought she did, even before she got her teeth fixed. And the band The Obsessed, who's a doom metal band. And of course, as all bands do, they have a photo of themselves on tracks. How original. Let's look at the packaging. So, Caulfield, they did a unique thing here. I don't know what the thinking was, but, they angled the Caulfield, the Provision company they decided to put under. So this is definitely a unique logo. Aside from that, it's rather simple. And you got your red pepper. And again, say it with me. Chipotle is smoked jalapeno. That's right, folks. Let's look at the ingredients here. So for the ingredients, we have double filtered water. Not single, double. None of that crap for you, right? Diced tomatoes, distilled vinegar, red jalapeno peppers, red onion, garlic, sugar, chipotle powder, salt, cloves, and natural gum. The ingredient, as tempting as it is to go into natural gum, you also don't see cloves very often, so that's going to be our ingredient. So what the hell is a clove, right? So cloves are basically these, they're dried, brown, rich brown, typically really dark, little unopened flowers of an evergreen from the myrtle family. So it comes from, the name actually comes from clove, which is French for nail. And if you ever seen a clove, it kind of looks like a nail. You see the It's got the little head on it, and it's got the stem, so I guess you could see where it comes from, right? I'm wondering if that's where it comes from, but because it doesn't look like a fingernail, so I assume that's where they came up with the name. Anyway, so they were highly prized during the Roman era, right? And so I don't know if they were traded as money, but spices tended to carry a lot of weight in that region, and I guess before even other spices got there, cloves were really in high demand. Oh, and in China, cloves were used to freshen people's breath if they were ever in the presence of the emperor during the Han Dynasty. So, yeah, I mean, last thing you want to do is offend the emperor with horrible breath, right? Also, it's an excellent source of manganese and vitamin K. Cloves are also used in Indonesian cigarettes called kretek, also known as clove cigarettes. You've ever smelled them? Cloves have a very distinct smell, and when people smoke them, you could just tell, like, the fuck are they smoking, right? All right. So before we get any further, though, let's hear from this week's sponsor.
Coming this summer, the movie sequel to a book that was never made into a movie. A tale about a granddaughter that visits her ailing grandfather in the hospital. This isn't just any old man. This is Holden Caulfield, the protagonist of Catcher in the Rye. With his health failing and life slipping from him, Holden tells his granddaughter where to find his old memoirs. When she finds them, she realizes that her grandfather may be the biggest poser of them all. In a quest for answers, she lives out the adventures detailed by her grandfather. Will she find redemption for him, or will her suspicions be confirmed? Catcher in the Rye 2, Holding On for Life.
Now, the moment of truth. You can see it's a pretty watery sauce. It looks a lot like a barbecue sauce. And smells a lot like a barbecue sauce. So when I opened it, I did smell it before, but it literally smells like a barbecue sauce. Which means the cloves aren't that dominant in here. You're kind of smelling the back end, but it's not too dominant, which tells me that this is probably a well-balanced sauce. I can smell a touch of vinegar. So I'm expecting this to be smoky. It's not going to be very hot because, again, Chipotle is more flavor than heat. I expect it to be, have a smoky flavor with a tinge of vinegar and a little bit of spiciness from the cloves, so with some of the garlic. And again, as you can see, it's a deep red. Yeah, it looks like a barbecue sauce. So, it tastes exactly like a spicy barbecue sauce. It is good. Not too vinegary, not too sweet, but actually has a touch of sweetness. The consistency is a little watery, so you'd have to be careful putting that on food. But man, you can put this on anything with barbecue. And this is a lightweight. It's like I mentioned. I figured it was going to be a pretty mild sauce comparatively. Good flavor though. I think could use a touch more salt, but it's not bad. Yeah, but it tastes like a less viscous barbecue sauce. So anything that requires barbecue, I would use this on. I would probably avoid, of course, like fish and keep it within, most foods that are either smoked or grilled. And that's pretty much it. So that's the only limiting factor would be the smokiness in this. And again, it's not too smoky. Again, It's not too spicy. Maybe you could have used a touch more salt, but I mean, you could remedy that on your own, right? But it's a good sauce. Yeah, good job, Caulfields. All right. So, next week, we're going to be reviewing a sauce out of Iowa. This one is Brown Dog's Farm Ghost Pear. Should be exciting. All right, so until then, I'm Henry, and remember, spice up your life. Take care.